Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am really pleased to welcome you during this stream. That is the one about Frisian Draughts, something new on this channel, something that has never been shown by me, and something that is extremely difficult and geniusly tactical, because the things that you are going to see about this variation of drafts is something extremely unique. Now, in Netherlands, in the Fryslân, there is a tournament, Fryslân Open 2024. And about this tournament, analysis of the games and history of this drafts variation that came from Netherlands, all this about will be this stream that is planned for 2 next hours, and also other streams that will be broadcasted by me tomorrow, the day after and the day after until Saturday. So I hope we will see each other every day. Tomorrow, on Thursday, on Friday and on Saturday, and perhaps even on Sunday, because that is the day where, as I understand it well, the World Championship in Frisk is planned. The games are about to be followed by everyone on leadrafts.org, and just to inform you, on the bar below you will find all the most important informations about Frisian Draughts, about this tournament, about where to find the website of the organizers of the Frisian Draughts actually, and the federation, which is, I can show you already, World Frisian Draughts Federation, and this is the web page, frisiandrafts.com. This page, link to this page is displayed on the bar below me, and as well this page can be found, link to this page can be found in the description under the video on YouTube, because just to sum it up, we are live on 2 different streams, on 2 platforms, on Twitch, which is Checkers Online TV, and YouTube checkersTV. So this webpage gives you a lot of information about rules, about gaming, about calendar, tournaments, history, absolutely everything. I spent quite a time on this webpage already, and I can tell you it's just the mine of knowledge about this variation of drafts. Just to inform you, every round is broadcasted and analyzed live on the YouTube channel of Frisian Draughts. So if you would like to have professional analysis that I can't provide you, and I will explain you why, then you can follow this channel Frisian Draughts on YouTube, where Alexander Schwarzman is commenting right now the 3rd round of this tournament. Here on the camera you can see Polish representative Łukasz Kosobucki, who as the Polish one, who is the first ever playing in this tournament. So we, as I am from Poland of course, Polish fans can keep fingers crossed for Łukasz, and here you can know much more about this game than from me, because of course I will be supported by the engine, computer engine, so this is the way how to find those combinations. But if you like to improve your imagination, your drafts calculation skills, this game, Frisian Draughts, is just perfect for it, because you can make such a beautiful, such a astronomical combinations, because I am just lacking words for describing its combinations. It's something impossible, and you will face it and join me in this beautiful adventure to this variation of the game. If you would like to support the results, follow it, you can always go to the Tourney Base KNDB web page, where you have the standings and where you can see that 24 players are participating in this tournament, and we have here, for example, titled players in international drafts like Alexei Domchev, Grandmaster International, who was the world champion in 2022 in Riga during the World Blitz Championship among men, of course. And we have our Łukasz Kosobucki, who is the FMGD master. Of course, there is always also Patrick Casaril playing from the Belgium MF as well. And we have quite a known player, for example, Petra Duszkova, who is well playing during the international drafts tournaments. There will be a lot of comparing Frisian drafts to international drafts, because there are many similarities, but many things are completely different, especially about the tactical game and strategical game, what we will follow. on the leaddrafts.org, behind the notification about my stream, and I'm really pleased that it is shown and you can easily find how and when and where I'm streaming, you will see the Fryslân Open games provided by Draughts, and what could be seen on the YouTube video. Players next to the boards keep the tablets where they are putting the games live, and that way it is not necessary to have live DGT boards, but for us it's great because we can follow live the games, and we can already see 9 games on this page and another 3 on this page, and we'll start to analyze it soon. Before that, just let me check out if everything is displayed well, and Frisian Draughts with Hawaii Blue. Nice to see Frisian Draughts getting more recognition, so this is occasion for me to display your comments on the stream, and here you can see it. So feel free to comment, feel free to join this stream as the spectator, as the viewer, but also join me during analysis of the game, and I will have the honor to display your comments on the screen. Just to remind you, we are on Draughts, we are on YouTube and on Twitch, of course. I can provide some insights too. So Frisian Draughts with Hawaii Blue, you are very welcome to do that, because I'm not a good player. And just coming to the games, what I promised you a few minutes ago, I am not so good player in this Frisian Draughts variant. Why? Because I have never played in any tournament in it. Of course I played many games, friendly games, but honestly I lost more of that games that I played. I use sometimes Frisian Draughts variation to play with kids that, for example, I am teaching how to play international drafts, because I think that this variation is really spectacular about, like I mentioned, calculation and tactical skills, and that's something I love about that. And I think that if kid can, for example, play a game of Frisian Draughts and can follow all the tactical variations, it is much easier to make good calculations in international drafts. So it's sometimes, you know, way of training, way of practice to use one variation of the game to be better on another. Like, for example, once Vasily Ivanchuk, a well-known grandmaster from chess, explained to other chess players. After all, Vasily is a great ambassador of drafts around the world. He told that it is good for chess players to play checkers or drafts, because that way you can develop your calculation skills, because once the capturing, the jumping is mandatory, the geometry of the position changes so fast that it's really difficult, and Ivanchuk isn't a good player in Frisian. Of course he is not, and I am not a good player, but you know, it's about developing calculation skills, and I think it's a good way. And just to finish my thought, Ivanchuk said that for chess players it is good to play checkers or drafts, because that way you can improve your calculation skills. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am glad that you see also what I am speaking about on the Draughts, because here is the chat that is following the games. So round 3 is on right now, and as you can see, those games can be analyzed live by Alexander Schwarzman. But maybe before we will check out the first round of this competition, because the first one was of course the first one that I've started to follow during this tournament. The first round was played in the morning today. So this is that. Frisian Draughts with Hawaii Blue. I'm a good Frisian player, but in Draughts 64 I'm a horrible player. Okay, and tell me what is the reason for that, and what are the possibilities? I know that 64 square drafts are extremely theoretical and you need to know a lot of theory, but after all, if you are so well calculating that you are so good at Frisian drafts, why not to be that one in 64? For example, Brazilian, I don't know. So here is the first game to follow, the first round to follow actually, and just after the games were played there is a big analyze provided by Scan Computer, just to help you and me see everything. We'll just turn on the numbers, notifications on the board, just we can follow it, and let's try to understand a bit better this game. So for example, this game was played between Fouquet Inensma and Renaud Bray. I would, sorry for my pronunciation if this is not a good one, but I'll try to explain it. And for example, in Frisian drafts, what I have noticed, move that is not most of the games considered in international drafts, 32-27, here it's a good one, because after all you want to build such sequences of your pieces that will not allow your opponent to take vertically, for example, because coming to the rules, here on the bar you have displayed the informations about tournament right now, for example, but also I mentioned there short explanation of the rules. In Frisian drafts it is not only possible to jump, to capture diagonally, but also vertically and horizontally. This is really important, and this makes this difficult game even more difficult, much more difficult. But thanks to that you have so many possibilities of capturing, the game ends sooner than in international games. As I did see, for example, this analyzed game lasted 42 hours, and it's really difficult to see a game that lasts, for example, 50 moves or something, while in international drafts we have 60 or 70 moves long games. And other rule that is really important about this variation of drafts is that, of course, majority capture rule applies here, so you have to take the most pieces, the most number of pieces during the capture. Once you have the king, your king has the privilege of jumping, of capturing, so if you have the possibility of capturing with a piece and with a king, you need to take with a king. And once you have a king and there are still your pieces on the board, you can maximally make 3 moves in a row. Then you have to move with a piece. That's sometimes strange rule in endgames, what I think that we will see during this analysis that we will try to make. XYZ, this is Fryslân Open 2024. I always lose butter to center somehow. Okay, and that's the strategical difference, because like Frisian drafts with Hawaii Blue says, he loses games in 64 Brazilian drafts, for example, because of the center. And what is easy to notice, beginners, when they play Brazilian drafts or other variation of drafts, they go to the edges, they go to the sides, because they feel their pieces are more comfortable there, and it's more difficult to take those pieces. And this is the part of the strategy of the beginners, and here in Frisian drafts it is extremely good working. This is extremely good working, because once you will go to the sides, it's absolutely difficult to take your pieces or to use it in some combinational way. Meanwhile, in the center, which I can show you right now, for example, some central squares, it is quite easy to use those pieces to make a combination. So once you try to be more strategical than tactical, it can be a problem, because strategy most of the time is about controlling the central squares, and this is a very tactical game. So I think international drafts will be more strategical and this will be more tactical. XYZ, only English during this transmission, only English. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's follow this game. So like you can see, this not often played move 30-27 was played in this game, and many times we have exchanges like that, occupying those squares like 26 and 27. And after this exchange, this capture, we have the first example of horizontal capture. So this is the move that was played by white pieces, who actually won this game. So let's try to move forward, and I don't think that gaining tempos is really good here, you know, because I see that many players exchange back, and they are trying to have some save moves. And something that would be absolutely not understandable for me, that for example this move, okay, this is the central move, but it can already be a huge mistake, because like you can see what Scan says about this position, it was 0.3, so small advantage for white pieces, but after this one it's even more than 1 piece, 1.5 piece, so that's a quite big advantage just after such not looking bad move. So let me know if you know why it is only English. Bye bye XYZ. Okay, so here is the example for the combination or for the exchange. So that was the move suggested. So let me turn on the arrow of the best move, and this time player that played white pieces already knew how to use the best move. So here there was only there were two options of capturing, and there was the first one and it ended on the king. That's right, this is how this combination worked. This is how this combination worked, and actually it looks like it goes two way, because you can lose and you can lose not your piece from the square number 11. In this case, computer prefers, so this combination could be made that way. 1, 2, 3, because immediately you lose, you take opponent's king, but after this one and this capture was taken, not this one, to develop pieces further and further. So opponent, each of them is trying to keep the base pieces on the main line, on the first line. So that was the really nice combination just in the beginning of this game, and many of viewers would say that they are playing like a good player against a weaker player, because the one playing dark pieces played 1923, but honestly it's even above my level. You have to cover up and then your wing is out of play. Okay, so we have some notices, important notices by Frisian Draughts with Hawaii Blue, who told me that on the chat I can display this comment, that for example move 1923 is a strange one, because then you need to cover those gaps, and once you need to cover from all the combinations, then your weak is empty and out of play probably, or you just can't make any moves on the wing. So this is the reason why it's not worth to keep some pieces in the central part of the board. Perhaps it is that way. So this is a combination that normally would not be so easy to find, but I know that the players just know how the pattern works, and just the pattern was used here. So one piece of advantage, normally it would be pointed like 1 point something for light pieces, for white pieces. In this game, in international drafts, or there are two pieces of difference, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 6, 8, 10. Only one piece of difference, but advantage is enormously bigger than in international drafts. If 23 moves, you lose 2. You mean the beginning of the game or right now, Hawaii? So there was an exchange. What I can see sometimes, I think that there are some squares that putting pieces on would be really nice, like for example 21 standing on 31, if it is possible, of course, according to the position. So our job during next streams is to understand better this game, and here is the secure play, I guess. None of the pieces from the base line were moved as the result of the game of white pieces. So going to the corners, not being aware and not being afraid of anything, and just slowly waiting until your opponent makes some mistakes. So here, for example, 2 moves were possible by the computer. Now there was a possibility of going to 31, which was suggested, but finally just this exchange 2 for 2, another exchange 1 for 1, another exchange, and slowly this one piece of advantage gave white the victory. Okay, and now black pieces surrendered in the beginning. Okay, so something that probably I can try show on the stream, because when I played friendly games, when I played some friendly games on leaddrafts.org in Frisian Draughts, it was not easy for me to not to play to 23, because those are my habits, you know. I just make those central moves, and I know this is not a good idea here. What was nice, perhaps for the Polish viewers, we can go to the game between Fede Wiersma and Łukasz Kosobucki. That was really interesting game, because Łukasz Kosobucki is the first Polish player ever to participate in this tournament, and he made a mistake already in not third, because this is the standard opening, as I noticed. But here, playing 46 to 41 is a big mistake, I think, at least in accuracy, but Draughts already marks this move as a mistake. So normal move is to play 42-37, but here after this move 18-22 there are so many different combinations, and here after 41-37 what I noticed is an opening combination, and it is quite known. And in the other game of this round this combination was played actually. So, but this is amazing combination, quite nice. Here Łukasz should say something like this exchange 2-4-2. And you can explain me already, Frisian Draughts with Hawaii Blue. Is it good to exchange pieces, or it is normal, or some exchanges are good and some are bad? How does it work? And after this move, it was Łukasz opponent who made a mistake, Fede Wiersma. So you can see move that looks normally, but from -0.5 it gives +2.1. So normally understanding of this play is that this move loses 4 pieces, something normal. And what Łukasz should play? 35-30. Let's try to understand it. Make this exchange, and I think that removing this square number 5 for the dark pieces is just good for white. That's a common trap. Depends about exchanges. Okay, can you tell me, Frisian Draughts with Hawaii Blue, what about making this empty and just leaving one piece on the side? That way it is good? Why just the advantage of white pieces is nearly +2? Why? How does it work? How does it work in this position? I just don't know how to understand it. But as you can see, perhaps Łukasz could just develop on the side and try to attack this wing. This is how I would understand it. Meanwhile, Łukasz has not played the right move. Oh, because piece 22 is bad, you say? Where is this variation? Here. Okay, so this piece is bad, but normally it was played just to be used for the opening traps, yes? And now this is quite easy to use for some other combinations because it can't make any moves. This can't be played, of course, just to make this visible for you. There is just the piece sacrifice that is not working. So this piece would be trapped, perhaps after something like that. Okay, not yet, but there are many options. This is probably not possible because of this 1-4-4. So you can see how difficult combinations can be played here. But let me show you what could have been played in this game just after this exchange that was played and this exchange that was not played by Łukasz. Finally, his opponent Fede Wiersma found this combination and played 6-11. Perhaps he reminded himself about this combination, and it looks like impossible, but dark pieces get here to the king and has the winning position. But still, as I know and as I listened to Alexander Schwarzman, who is quite experienced player in this variation of drafts and every drafts, I guess, variation, he told that it's not easy having even the king to win the game, because there are so many different tactical possibilities that many things can happen. There is a good attack towards long corner, yes, okay, so thank you very much for this explanation. So I know a bit more now. And combination that was finally played is 20-24, and it forces white pieces to take 3 pieces just with the arrows that you see, and finally 2 pieces are taken to the king, and there is 1-4-2. So finally you can see that nearly 3 pieces advantage after this opening combination. Standard one, the first one perhaps that I will know now. And what has been played then? This is a mistake actually, this is a mistake, 9-14. And Łukasz plays the best possible move, 37-31. So, but this is the idea that I saw also in another game, so perhaps this is something theoretical as well. But to calculate it's extremely difficult. So There are two possibilities of the capture with the king. So the first one is to 19, but this is losing actually, because just having this free tempo, knowing that your opponent will capture, look how many pieces you can take now. King and 1, 2, 3, 4, and takes back, so there is one piece advantage, but this one can be attacked somehow, put pressure on. 2, 4, 6, 8 against 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh, there is much more of advantage pieces. 2, 4, 6, 8, 11, 13. 2, 4, 6, 8. So there's 3 pieces. There are 3 pieces of advantage, so it's quite a lot. And just after attack and some simplifications, you can easily win this game, like for example this way. So this is the reason why opponent of Łukasz couldn't take to 19 and did play to 23, and Łukasz played the best possible move here, and after his opponent took, just made this majority capturing rule used and forced opponent's king to take 3 pieces. And now again there are many pieces to be taken, king and 1, 2, 3, 4, and after that the state was equal. 8 pieces against 8 pieces, and the engine says that it's a small advantage of Łukasz. I love that combination, Frisian Draughts with Hawaii Blue. Honestly, it's a beautiful one. It's a beautiful one. And can you explain me one thing? Because, okay, I know that king has the privilege of capturing, but what happens if there is majority capture rule? If you should take more pieces with your piece than with your king, then still you need to take with your king, or then the majority capture rule applies and the piece should take? Because this is the thing that I know, that I don't know. And the game was on. And that was the moment when opponent of Łukasz could play to 31, and this is what I meant. It's sometimes perhaps such pieces, because it's really difficult to take one. If you will attack that with the move to 31, it will go to the corner and you can do nothing with this piece. This is extremely strong, probably. And also it limits you with some moves to 32, because this piece will be just captured. So I think that's the reason why this piece is really strong, and Łukasz opponent should play to 31 in this position, but it was not played actually, and after a few next moves, this is another mistake from Łukasz, and now definitely this move should be played. Then it is majority capture. Okay, so now we are wiser, now we know more about that. So now we know that majority capture rule is in front of the privilege of the king capture. So if 2 pieces can be taken with your piece, then you must take with the piece, and once there is the same number of captured pieces by the king and by a piece, then you can choose. Then you cannot choose, you must take with the king. Okay, thank you very much, Frisian Draughts with Hawaii Blue, for explaining that. And Łukasz was lucky because his opponent didn't use the chance and another chance, so you know, he was just not about to playing to this 31. Now this is not good, because of course there can be played this exchange. It's normal, I guess, in my opinion, another exchange. And I was talking to Łukasz after the game, and he told me that he thought that he will be winning this game, and if it was not possible to make this combination, because now he has to sacrifice. Łukasz thought that he will play here and didn't see before in the variation this small combination and quick loss for white pieces. So Łukasz was forced to just sacrifice this piece and go further to the king. Sometimes being on the king a bit earlier than your opponent gives you such a good chances of winning the game. Well, here it is 1 king against 1 king, and it's a draw. Another question that I might have about endgames, Frisian Draughts: when the game is won by one side, how many kings you need to capture opponent's king? Can 2 be enough, or you need 3 to win against 1 king? I mean, there are only kings on the board. How many kings do you need to win the game? So this one was really interesting game, in my opinion. Then what happened? This Pete Sigma against Menno Kaminga. Menno, as I can see on the chat, that was the first round still. So just opening and minus 1.1, this exchange. Oh wow. So that was fast. 2 kings, okay. So we know now some new thing. 2 kings are enough to win against 1 king. Okay. I hope that there will be such endgame and we'll be able to follow it and find the victory. So minus 1.5 pieces just after 2 moves, and now I think that moving this is not looking good. Opening this king square could be just achieved by opponent, and it is here, just 2 for 2. You have to do it 7 moves though. Okay, so if you are not doing that in 7 moves, it's a draw then? It's a rule that you have 7 moves to win? Or it requires 7 moves, the technique, to catch your opponent's king? How does it work? A big part of interesting knowledge here. Many weak pieces in the center left, that's why it's bad, okay. So this opening is already explained. Here the sacrifice of 2 pieces to catch opponent's king, but loss of pieces is just too big, and now another combination. Okay, exchange. And finally this one for 2, another exchange. Only 1 piece more, so at first glance it's not looking as absolutely horrible, but those pieces are in center, and this is the problem, what is marked here on this stream. And now another exchanges, and finally central pieces have nowhere to go, and you know, even this exchange is something really interesting that you barely can see in other variations of checkers or drafts. Sacrifice to the king and catch it, just 1 by 1. It's something that is not happening in other variations, because giving your opponent the king can be used only during some combinations, when your opponent can still catch some piece during capturing, but here just 1 for 1. Yes, exactly, you have 7 moves to win 2 against 1, otherwise it's a draw. Okay, and if your opponent plays perfectly in most difficult endgame, 2 kings against 1 king, how many moves it is necessary for perfect play to catch your opponent? The technique, how does it work? How does it work? And here the pieces were gone. Okay, this game was finished. The game between Martin Wallinga and Patrick Casarelli. Okay, so Martin is, I guess, the president of this and the organizer of this tournament, and he won this game, so definitely we need to analyze that. So this opening that we can see for many times played, and here still computer shows this is the best way. And many players don't like to uncover the king squares from the first line. Is it a part of the strategy that works? Frisian Draughts, can you explain us that? Is it the part of strategy that works, just to have those squares covered, not to move this piece? Okay, so the game was played carefully. This exchange that has been seen by us many times. This exchange that led to cover this square 4 again, 2 black pieces, another exchange, and something, you know, that I can still understand, but now the huge advantage for black pieces is being indicated by scan on lead drafts, despite the fact I just can't understand it. Now all the wing is uncovered. Perhaps this is the reason of problems of white pieces. Finally they go to the center, another exchange, which is one of the best ones. Here this move was indicated, but this is still good, and the same advantage is showed. So finally I expect some combination, but there is still not. And here probably, okay, 2 for 1, for 1, for 2 to the king. Beautiful. So Martin just did it in a beautiful way. So, you know, and that was perfect game maybe played by Martin, because there was no other combination during the game before. All the time was just the same advantage once perhaps this move was indicated as a mistake, as this one should be played, but it is not a mistake, to be honest. The advantage from 3 to 4, does it change anything? Because still, this would be just an exchange, yeah, 2 for 2, perhaps just to break through to the king, but I don't think it was a mistake. So perhaps it was just a perfect game played by Martin, beautiful combination made in the end, and opponent just gave up, which is fully understandable. Short corner is more difficult to defend. Okay, so by short corner you mean the right wing? So which one is short? Because normally in international drafts this is the short wing, yeah, the right one of the player, and the long one is the one with 46 or the main diagonal, the 5 square. So this game has been analyzed by us, and after we'll see the games of this round, we will slowly go to the game, to the history of the game, because this is really interesting. This is something that I would like to uncover with you, to know that with you. Oh, how nice combination it was here in this 4 against 4 position, but this is something that we will just see in the end. So Frisian Draughts with Hawaii Blue just confirms what I say. So short corner, the right wing is more difficult to defend because that is the technique of the game. So this game was played between Hide de Vries and Ties Slachter, sorry. Or actually Slachter, perhaps. If he is Dutch, probably he is. I can check it already. Slachter. Yes, Ties Slachter. He's rated player. And he, after 2 rounds, had 1.5 points. So that is another difference between international drafts and Frisian drafts. You get 1 point for the victory and half of the point for drawing the game. So it's similar to chess and not like in open international drafts tournaments. Łukasz was 18th and he had 1 draw after 2 games, so many players still without a point. And what is really interesting, Alexei Domchev after 2 games, he did have 0 points, 2 losses in this competition, despite the fact that he is the Grandmaster International in international drafts, of course. So let's take a look about this game. I hope that after analyzing, watching so many games of good players, I will be able to understand this game, how to play openings at least, and how to see some opening traps, because at this moment it's absolutely new to me. And as I know, this year, 2024, is really important one for the Frisian Draughts Federation and for the Frisian Draughts community, because the World Championship will be played. Soon the Frisk World Championship, but sooner World Frisian Championship this year. Are you going to participate in some tournament, Frisian Draughts with Hawaii Blue? If you are on the chat, let me know, type some comments. I will be really enjoyed when you will join the conversation. Just to remind you, we are live on Twitch, Checkers Online TV, and on YouTube, checkersTV, and you can follow the informations about this tournament, about the game on the webpage frisiandrafts.com. Links are below in the description on YouTube, and also the link is displayed in the bar down the page. I know that many players can still follow the games, analyze the games with Alexander Schwarzman, because the 3rd round is still being played, and I hope we will get there to follow it. I played personal championships this year. Okay, so but this was where, and you can tell us where are you from? I got 4th and out of 8 in final C. Okay. But this is, tell me please, you are from Fryslân or some other place? Because I believe this is so competitive sport in the Netherlands the most, yeah, in the Fryslân. You can play today daily Frisian. Okay, I can't probably, because if the tournament is in the evening, that's the reason why I'm streaming earlier today, because normally I would stream from 8 to 10, but despite the fact that I have a meeting I couldn't reschedule on 7 p.m. Central European time, so that's the reason why I'm streaming earlier. But tomorrow, the day after and the day after, I will be streaming from 8 p.m. So after the games, after the live broadcasts and analysis from Alexander Schwartzman, it will be a good time just to sum up the day, to see the most important games, to follow what happened, to analyze the table and the standings, and just to enjoy the game of Frisian Draughts. So we will see each other later, the other days. Okay. Continuing the game, so it was played that way, exchange that we have seen a few times, similar from both sides. So this is something that I know already, this moving 5 is just a mistake, so it's like basic mistake maybe. And just let me explain why this exchange is good, because, okay, dark changes there, and of course this is not possible because of this combination that works in each variation of drafts, international especially, and now you don't have to sacrifice 2 pieces. It would be still winning, but you can sacrifice just 1 piece to get your opponent's piece here on 29 and take 3 to the king. Okay, so that's the reason why it is not possible. So this is the combination that I was able to find, but was not played by white pieces. And so despite the fact that this guy had 1 victory and 1 draw after 2 rounds, there are some mistakes to be noticed during the games. There was this move suggested by the computer to make this exchange, but it would let dark pieces to get on 5 again. But that was not played. There is this exchange and another exchange, and here taking here, and that it's just amazing that sometimes moves like that can be a big mistake. Inaccuracy now, Scan says, but you know, it looks absolutely normal. And this time Scan says that going to the center is a good idea, so I can't understand it. Of course, in drafts everything depends. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good, but in this position going to the center is something that I cannot follow. I am from Germany, okay, and in Germany you have national competition in Frisian Draughts? Black gets encircled after this 12 to 17, so this 19 to 23 is about to get space in the central part of the board, as I mean, yeah? So this works that well, that work. So it looks like just white pieces didn't take the occasion to play the best moves to play, and here after this one was a combination, just exchange, okay, to take the corner. So I believe taking this corner, 15 and 12, should be good, right? Because another time, just covering this square, 20, is a good one for one of the sides. No, only international, okay. Of course I cooperate with Jan Ziołtowski, who is from Poland and is a big person in the German Draughts Federation, so we organize many tournaments together. For example, last year's Veterans and Under 27 Championships that I have organized in Poland, and this year it will be from 14th to 21st April, just in the coastline in Dąbki. So if you want to see Polish Sea, just you can visit this tournament and play international drafts if you are over 50 or under 27. There are 2 ways during this competition. I am 35, so I have no occasion to play in such tournaments. This one was not played, and then another exchange was played, so still a position of black pieces is better. Another exchange, some simplifications that we can see many times. And finally, after quite an equal game, that game has founded a result. So this is 5 against 5, and I think such endgames are extremely difficult to calculate, and it should be important to control some squares that I absolutely don't know which ones you should control. Because, you know, if 2 experienced players are playing and they are getting to the end game where 5 pieces are playing against 5 pieces, it should be like quite easy to calculate it. Meanwhile, it is not. And take a look about that. That is the mistake, and now white pieces have advantage of 6 pieces. So they could just win the game by playing here, and what then? Okay, now it decreased the advantage. Probably the tempos are good for white ones. Here, how to win it? It's not easy to follow. It's not possible to follow for me. I guess there is no move to play right now. So you need to calculate few moves further that you will get to the position of just multiple oppositions or something like that, yeah? And the tempo works for you, that you have the saved move and your opponent is not. And this is winning for white. I don't know either. Okay, so it's not so easy to calculate it. If you are an experienced player and you know how to play it, and it's not so easy to follow it for you as well. So it calms me down a bit. It calms me down a bit. Endgame is a mystery for me. Endgames are the most difficult everywhere. It's the most difficult part of the game. It could be, at least, because you know, after all, the result decides there. So it's all about deciding the result in the endgame, and endgames are about calculations. And calculations are the big part of, for example, 54 square drafts, where your calculations need to be extremely precise to perform good way of playing. Okay, going further, what do we have here? This is just the variation that we analyzed and we know why. So after this move that has not been used, oh, and this time this is losing, because now those pieces just can't move. The only move that was to play was to make this exchange. Oh, and this combination was forced. Wow, really nice. So this is something that you definitely have to calculate. This is something that you have to calculate. That your opponent kinda make some forcings or some unavoidable situations, because now after this one, okay, the same situation could be, but this one is not working. Yeah, working as well. Okay, so that was something that I wanted to follow. So you have 1 for free that way, or another way is to take this way and still you get 3 pieces to the king. But actually in the game was played this exchange and then 2 pieces sacrificed and gave up by white pieces, and you take 3. And this one is just easy to take, because now you can make this line is not possible to get by white pieces. Tjerk Weibemga Frede Kramer. Okay, let's try to be a bit faster. Are there any mistakes in the opening? I can't see it. And what is really interesting, you know, international drafts game is extremely balanced. It means that in the beginning of the game it's totally equal, I guess. That white and dark pieces have the same chances. Meanwhile, here after the first move of white pieces there is 0.3 advantage of black pieces. So like they say that the best move to play is 42-27, but after that, okay, there is equal. So this is quite kind of funny, you know? You play the first move 41-26 and there is inaccuracy provided by scan. That you should have played the best move 32-27. Quite nice. But most of the time, it just leads to the similar position. So all the time a slight advantage of dark pieces to finally get to the end game probably. Oh no, that was a mistake. Inaccuracy again. And small advantage of white. And that was a mistake. There is a combination. Okay. Quite an easy one. So black just sacrificed 1, and after that take 3. And this one piece of difference just kills the game and ends it. So that was interesting, because this Tsierkwajbemga played a good game all the time and just in this position, 8 against 8, he made such a simple mistake. So it's not so understandable easily for me, and let's get to another game of the first round. So, like, all the time the same opening is played, or a similar one. Do you know, Frisian Draughts, how it works? Why only one openings are played? It's like you have only one opening to be played, and that's all? You just need to follow, or there is no such possibility of playing many different openings in Frisian Draughts? I just want to speed it up a little. Oh. Okay, so that exchange was a mistake. Perhaps this short corner is not defended well, like it was noticed. Awesome. Piece sacrifice. Okay. Now it looks horrible. And finally with this attack, exchange, dark pieces take control over this square 31. We know already it is good. Oh, wow, nice combination. Let me follow it. So this combination starts here. This way, yes, yes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So perhaps, maybe, perhaps he did not see the better capture here, which is to the king. Can it be that way? And after this one, what? Even here? Oh, 2 for 2. Okay. Wow, really nice. It takes me some time to understand what is going on. So, okay, after this one... Okay, oh, okay, definitely he did see the right capture, but decided to go here. It's easy way to king, and after that, of course, you can make an exchange here. And once you go, you can take the king, and it's easily won. But this one, sacrificing the king, is a really nice one. I mean, going to 47, escapes, and doing this 2 for 2. Good positional play by Henk Hanstra. Yeah, so black pieces well deserved on winning this one. Let's go further. This game was won by white pieces, and again, on the first move we have an inaccuracy, but it was equalized quite fast, and that move is a mistake right now, and computer did not suggest to make this combination right now, but it works the same like the normal move suggested. So, because after that there is no combination, yeah, the game continues, but this piece I believe is quite easy to take, right? And this is a really nice one, and this is how to use majority. This is not possible to take here or here, of course, so you must take 3 pieces, you take 2, your opponent takes, and you take another 2, and you have to calculate from the previous position, like from this one to this one, that you have the equal number of pieces, and yet you need to know that this piece is easy to take. Just to take it over, capture it. And you don't have to be hurry, so now white pieces were not hurry. And going to the edges, because their pieces are more safe. And finally this 1 for 2. So this one perhaps thought he will get to the king, but no the way. Stefan8, hello! Finally someone commented on Twitch, nice to see you. Frisian Draughts, this is a common idea. I won a lot of games like that. You won a lot of games like that, and I want to win a lot of games like that. Just remember that you can play on lead drafts many Frisian tournaments, and I really admire organizers of this tournament because it was possible to win the entry to this tournament by playing tournaments online. It's really nice to promote the variation of the game, because of course everywhere you need some money, you need some funds, but they are organizing it that well and trying to promote it using the streams. Alexander Schwarzman streaming, I was invited to stream it, so I admire them really much, and it's worth to follow such people that are trying to promote drafts all over the world and not only in the region. And I see that this tournament is growing because more and more countries are involved into this, and I hope that one day other players from other countries, like for example my Poland, will be better on this variation of the drafts. And perhaps me, as the president of Polish Drafts Federation, I will be trying to organize some Polish championship in Frisian drafts. Why not? This is something new, this is something fresh, and I see many development values about this variation of the game. Okay, 3 more to see. Some perhaps were quite fast. Yeah, there was a mistake already on the 6th move, so again going to the center was not a good idea, because finally it ends like that. 1 for 2. Looks simple, but okay, this king, oh, it was really nice. I've seen it on Schwarzman analyze. So there is the move the white pieces made to take 1 for 3, this king, I mean, but there was this combination prepared. And how many pieces were taken by black pieces? It is not possible in international drafts. It is not possible in Brazilian drafts to take so many pieces at once. Łukasz is playing on lead drafts too. He makes for some exciting games. Yeah, he does. You know, I remember times like 10, 15 years ago during some tournaments in international drafts in Poland, and you know, on the evenings someone played poker, someone played regular drafts, and Łukasz was the one to try to play Frisian drafts, for example, from the very start and a very long time ago. So now it pays off, maybe he's the one to calculate that well and participate in this tournament. So how many pieces to take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pieces at once. So it's ended this game quite quickly, so Hein de Vries played it really nice. Jelle Wiersma. So we have 2 Wiersma players, and do you know if they are related to Harm Wiersma, ex-world champion from Netherlands? They are playing quite good, and one was the opponent of Łukasz Kosobuski on the first round, the other one won this round against Porter Richardson, and the game was played like that. Okay, so some players decide on going to 21, so it looks like having this square occupied is a good idea, and this time this 23 was taken by dark pieces, and the position is equal after 18 moves. So you can see the games are quite shorter. 2 for 2 exchange. Both players are not using the single corner pieces, not playing with them. Jelle is a Frisian champion. Oh, nice. Nice to see it. So we are looking at the champion game. So despite the fact there are no many pieces on the board, it is winning. And okay, this exchange. So already that was a winning position. Okay, so that's something interesting to notice. So like Frisian drafts with Hawaii Blue says, Jelle is a Frisian champion. So in this position I could expect, despite, okay, maybe the game is just too difficult, but normally I would expect from the champion to try to calculate it till the victory. After all, there is only 5 pieces against 5 pieces, yeah? So just to make this exchange, this is what computer says about that, and controlling 21, 28, just forcing further. Of course, it's absolutely not easy to calculate it, because there are so many variations. Yeah, that's right. For example, this exchange, and you still can't see that this is winning position. Against, from my side, I can say that, yeah. 3.8 advantage for white pieces, but still something that I just can't understand. And now there are no moves to make. There is, okay, this piece sacrifice, this one will be caught and there is a capture. And if it goes to the edge, so this is winning. And this move has to be made, you can't go to the king. Wow! This is a draw and this is winning? How does it work? So this is some extra endgame. Why this piece has to stand there? Here, here. Okay, and this is something that we can learn right now. Okay, because you need the second king. So we need to go here just to cross the main line and not to let your opponent to catch it. And now it's not possible to attack it somehow to catch it. So this is winning endgame, you say. Okay, so now 3 moves were made. There is chance for catching king 1 for 1. You go to the king, you go to 41. There is no possibility of catch. 25, 13. Let's just see the best variation, just to learn how to play this endgame. Here, okay, the piece sacrifice finally. It would be taken anyway. Okay, and now how to catch your opponent's king. Here, here. It goes here, diagonally. Here, here. Okay, and there is a catch everywhere. So how does it work? Okay, this king can't play here because it is trapped here, vertically. Can't go here because it's caught here, horizontally. So this is the key position, but tempo must be working, I guess. So you can't go here because you are losing, this is not working, and this is now the one possibility. Oh, there is this one. What else? Here you can't, and here is this one, okay. So this is probably the key position to win. This cooperation of those two kings. Porter can't defend short corner well, yep. It happened, it just happened. So that's right, Frisian Draughts, this is the key position to win. Such situation for two kings? Perhaps it is. And the last Zugzwang, that's right. And the last game to follow from the first round, after which we'll tell something about the game history, is Petra Duskova and Diki van der Meyer, pardon, big pardon. So Petra Duskova lost this game actually, and was quite fast. So again, this is a mistake. This is something that we can know already. So this is the move number 5 and the mistake. It was played by Łukasz Kosobucki. Okay, and this is the game where the combination, the standard combination that could have been played against Łukasz on the first move was not played, but here is played well. So Diki van der Meyer just played it well. There is another, this idea that Łukasz has made to catch opponent's king. Okay. And now there is piece advantage on dark side. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, that's right. And one piece of advantage is a big difference and advantage in this variation of drafts. And another, whoa! How nice combination it was played. So you can see there is a lot of gaps between pieces, and adding the fact that you can capture vertically and horizontally, it was just asked to make it, to prepare it. And meanwhile this formation looks really strong, because you have so many different possibilities of capturing, so many different possibilities of sacrificing the pieces, and now after sacrificing 2, Petra's opponent just took 5 and the game was done. Really nice one, really nice one, really nice one. Let's take a short look at the round 3, what is going on there. So we can just update who is having which position. So this time Petra Duskova playing with white pieces again has a losing position, it looks so. She is having a lost position probably. Then Herbert Tulek and Dickie van der Meer. Dickie that was followed by us just a minute ago. Now again he's playing a nice game and probably has the winning position against Herbert Tuleken. Then Łukasz Kosobucki. Ooh, Łukasz is winning perhaps. So this Porter Richardson, but probably he's having 1895 rating of international drafts, or Frisian, correct me if I'm wrong. But here in this position Łukasz has 2.7 pieces advantage, so it's like enough to win. 2, 4, 6, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8. And how that was played, just explain me that perhaps. The game is not analyzed yet, but I want to see how the combination was played. There was some variation maybe. Oh, once again this exchange. So this is something definitely every Frisian drafts player has to know, this exchange, because it's been played by some players, but not everyone chooses that. How did Łukasz get a piece of advantage? Okay, so this is normal. And this exchange is bad, so now Łukasz is going to 28. Okay, and there was probably no way to avoid this small combination. What else could have been played? Something like that? It's 1. Okay, that way you take freedom. Okay, and if you play something like that, there is this one. Takes. This one, and you take 3. 2 for 3. So Łukasz played it nice, really nice. So he made just unavoidable combination here by this move 33-28, really nice. And the game was played on. He did a breeze, Alexei Domchev. So it looks like Alexei Domchev has a small advantage of 0.6 pieces, but let me remind you that Alexei is still not having any points on his account, so it's time to improve. He had to give 1 to remain in the game, that's right. Porter got into positional trouble. Thank you for your explanations, Frisian drafts with Hawaii Blue, those are really worthy. Martin Wallinga that time has a draw position against Auke Zylstra. Renault Bray, Pete Sigma still a draw position, so there is this exchange 2-4-2 suggested by computer, and then it will simplify the position even more. T Slakter Fede Wiersma roundabout equal. Jelle Wiersma is winning the game against Henk Hanstra. So like you told, Jelle probably is the champion and he is playing well. Mishabat on the chat. Porter, what you do here? You aren't playing the game now? Perhaps he was here and was okay on chat. There was also hi Damian, so hi of course. And Frede Kramer against Teike Koistra. So Teike won the game and Feke Timensma Kor Koistra. It's about for white to be win. To be victory. It looks like that. So there is something still to follow. The thing that you might not know about the time control. The time control in this tournament is, I think, 40 minutes plus 20 seconds per move. So taking it into account the fact that there are about 40 minutes played by each, then you can get by the increments about third part of that, which is about 13 to 15. So the game should be done in less than 2 hours. So to play a game you need to spend about 2 hours to play one round. There are 3 rounds to be played per day, today, tomorrow, the day after, probably, but the schedule I have right now, right here, just let me tell you what the precise schedule for this tournament is. All the players, which is really interesting, I do here have the booklet about this tournament, and archive booklets are also visible to be found on the stream, on the page that I've told you Okay, there is the schedule. So it's like that. So there will be one Grandmaster tournament. So it looks like that. We have today Thursday, no, we have Wednesday, of course, 21st day of February. So we have the third game. The third game should be finished by 5:30. Then players have dinner on the Antigua at 6 p.m. And then we have the free program. So tomorrow another 3 rounds will be played from 10 o'clock, from 1 p.m. o'clock, and from 3:30. And the games last 2 hours according to the schedule. And after round 6 there will be Friday, and during Friday there will be 2 rounds. So it will be at 10 a.m., at 1 p.m., and there are barrages planned on from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. and another day of dinner on the Antigua. And then we have day 4 evening program, Friday 23rd February, arrival and round 1 Grandmaster tournament. So the first round of Grandmaster tournament will be played between 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. on Friday, and there is another on Saturday. There is round 2 and round 3 of Grandmaster tournament. And okay, about Frisk, there is a qualifying tournament to Frisk between 10 and 4:30, and on Sunday there is 7th World Championships Frisk. First move by Sip Borkeboard, member of the FMGD. So how it is. And at 4 p.m. there is award and closing ceremony of Fryslân Open 2023. There should be 2024 and Grandmasters and Masters tournaments, but how they are playing only 3 rounds. Qualifying tournaments of Frisk and World Championship Frisk. King's Commissioner Arno Brock will attend the award ceremony and the dinner at 6 p.m. So this is quite an intense time. Solid defense by Feka. Sorry for my pronunciation again. So where is Feka? Oh, here. Solid defense? Okay, because you mean those pieces are just in the first rows of the board. And here is the winning position probably. Does it work that way? If you are new to the channels, checkersTV on YouTube, or of course Checkers Online TV on Twitch, don't mind if you like this kind of drafts and checkers content to subscribe, to like, to follow. I will appreciate that a lot, and a lot of different checkers and drafts content to be presented here, and we can see each other next days during the transmissions from the Fryslân Open 2024, my dear ladies and gentlemen. So I would like to tell you something about the history of this game, some short brief about what is written on the page. So, Frisian Draughts, a brief history. In recent years, the world's top drafts players have discovered something new. Frisian Draughts. This drafts plays on 100 squares, with the main difference being that you are not capturing diagonally, but also horizontally and vertically. Most drafts players in the Netherlands have heard or even tried Frisian Draughts. During the Grandmaster tourney in Franeker. Franeker is the city where this tournament is played. In 2014, Alexander Gorgiev and Jean-Marc Giofang were among those who enjoyed this game, and this year we will be joined by Valneris and Schwarzman as well. Ex-world champion Gandfark has referred to Frisian Draughts as the chess of drafts. This is the sentence that I would not use, because, you know, I think that chess is more strategical, less tactical than drafts, and Frisian Draughts are even more tactical than international drafts. So, you know, this is not something that I would use to compare Frisian Draughts to chess of drafts, but, well. So what is all this? Haven't we got a drafts game already? Of course we have. International Draughts played on a 100 square board has been around for over 250 years, but the game currently known as Frisian Draughts is much older and was involved in the birth of the international game. In those days it was called Molverum's Draughts, after the sailors' village of Molkverum near Hindelopen. So, okay, Fryslân is the geographic part of Netherlands in the north and close to the sea. So this is the region, of course, known from this variety of drafts, and the name is from there. But the origins, the genesis of the game are really interesting, and you know, it's not 100% sure. We are not sure about what is the origin of international drafts. There are few legends, myths, paths of the history that we can follow, but honestly, in the end, we don't know. We don't have 100% confirmed way of the history, and perhaps it is like that way that Frisian drafts are even older than international drafts. When Frisian or Molkverum's draughts was discovered in Paris in the 18th century, people were immediately enthusiastic. Until 1720, draughts was played on a chessboard, but a larger board in combination with the straight capture opened up a myriad of extra possibilities. It wasn't long before all of Paris was playing draughts the Frisian way, or as they put in, the Babylonian way. Ooh. So Babylonian would say would put some anxiety in that. And from my point of view, as I am Polish, there is also another legend about Polish drafts, because here you have the new variant, the Polish. So let me finish that. However, for many, the transition was too great, and they began to experiment with the old rules, only diagonal captures on the larger board. This gave rise to new variant, the Polish, Dutch or international game. Okay, so there is something about this part of history. So, point of view of this article is that international 100 square board was invented to play Frisian drafts only, yeah? So you should capture diagonally and horizontally. So that way, that game would be something astonishingly difficult. And you know, the game itself, the strategy of the game, the way of playing, it changes through years, through centuries even. And the question is if such difficult tactical game was played at that times. And about this Polish name of international drafts, because you know, we say in Poland that there was an officer in France of the Queen Maria Leszczyńska, who was Queen of France that time, and this Polish officer was just playing a game of drafts on 64 square drafts board, and he just took this board and left immediately during a game, and everyone was shocked, going asking what is going on in this situation. He came back after a few days, he apologized everyone, and he brought the 100 square drafts board, saying and explaining that he invented such a beautiful combination, but there was no possibility of making it because board was too small, and that was the reason why he tried to prepare the bigger 100 square board, and that was the name of Polish international drafts. But also what I found, there were possibly some informations about the drafts even in 15th century in Amsterdam, and that time in Dutch language there was a word Polish, but during the years and in future it was connected to Poland as adjective, but Polish was the meaning for something strange, so it was like Dutch people wanted to call that strange drafts, and that was the Polish meaning, and not that it came from Poland. So this is really interesting about the history of the game. Okay, coming back to the article. Many new possibilities were discovered and new literature arose around this game. Clubs popped up like mushrooms. This is something that we would like to see everywhere in the world. Me in Poland as well. and it wasn't long before the new version arrived in the Netherlands. It was promoted everywhere, and slowly but surely the Molkverum's Draughts game began to be superseded in the Netherlands. In all of the Netherlands, no, in Fryslân, the original version of the game continued to be played with both diagonal and straight captures. Generations of Draughts players passed and developments continued. The new international Draughts game was analyzed and made more complex. However, they also discovered that something wasn't quite right, particularly during the endgame. A king on the large board can only capture diagonally, and it's actually too weak. You need at least 4 kings to beat one. And that's a good point of view, absolutely a good point of view, because after all, playing international Draughts, if you have 2 strong players, so getting to the end game where you have 3 kings against 1 king requires not so much skill perhaps, and too many games are finished in a draw. This is a point of view. So having the possibility of winning 2 kings against 1, it's really in plus for the game, for the rules, I believe. This is how I understand that. Nawciks, please Polish. Sorry, but I'm using only English during those transmissions, as there were just ordered, and I'm just doing my job to make these transmissions, those broadcasts in English. So I'm really sorry. On other transmissions I'm using Polish as well, but during those one only English will be used by me. Max expressed this perfectly when he compared the Hollandse king with a pawn promoted to a bishop or knight. Quite a good way of comparing. In Friesland, Draughts players were unaware of this problem. In a game with diagonal and straight captures, the king can be compared with the queen in chess, and an advantage of a single man that can be promoted is enough to secure victory. So just the endgame that we were analyzing. In other words, what is now known as Frisian Draughts is actually the original game that belongs on the large board, balanced in such a way that the minimum of advantage is rewarded not with a draw but with victory. In the early 20th century, the world champion at the time, Herman Hochland, discovered Frisian Draughts and designed a new variant, Hochland checkers, a combination of Frisian international rules played on a small board. Okay, so it is possible. However, despite of a brief blossoming, this variant did not prosper. Nevertheless, that Hochland had realized what was the Frisian Draughts offered away out of the too wide margin for draws in the international game. This is why we are again delighted to invite Dutch and international Draughts players to come and try Frisian Draughts. That was perhaps quite a long part of the history, but this is something that definitely we should know. That is something definitely we should know, because the fact where Draughts came from, it creates these times. So it's, in my opinion, and I hope in the opinion of many players, it is really important to know what is the history, what is the past. Okay, let's try to see the games of this round already. So Petra Duskova, playing light pieces, is losing the game. So let's analyze the standing right now. So Jele Wiersma and the champion, like here Frisian Draughts with Hawaii Blue told us. He has won 3 games already, all the games, so he is a good one. Is in the front. Taeke Koistra is playing, etc, etc. Okay, so Petra Duszkova, after 2 rounds, she did have 1 point because she has beaten Alexei Domchev. That's an interesting game. You can always go to Tournai Base and find those games. So this is the game played between Alexei Domchev and Petra Duszkova, and it was like an exchange. So here, yeah, that was an exchange. 1, 2 for 2. And Domchev did have this piece 21, so it was looking promising for him. So how he did lose this game? This exchange 1 for 1. So Petra took 2 squares in the center. There was an exchange 2 for 2. Perhaps this one was really strong. Oh, really nice combination from Petra. This is something that Alexei did not see. 1, 2, and 3 to collect 2, but straight to a king. And thanks to the king that is extremely strong, she just won this game. And this is just easy to be finished. Quite nice, quite nice. Okay, but this time Petra Duskova playing against Hein de Vries has more difficult situation because probably this is losing already. So let's take a look at this game, how it was played. This exchange, oh, so there was a combination that dark pieces didn't use. There was a combination against Petra Duskova that Hein de Vries didn't find. To sacrifice 2, to sacrifice another 2, to take 2, to take 1, to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there is 1 for 1 again. Come on, how difficult those combinations can be. And if anyone tries to tell me that Draughts is a simple game, that checkers is a simple game, I can just show them this Frisian variation and such positions and try to explain how this game can be difficult. How this game can be difficult, come on. Can you imagine this combination? I totally understand that Hein de Vries didn't find it. I totally understand that. Sacrifice 2, another 2, take 2, take 1, take 5. Wow. And it's funny what Scan says about analyzing those games, because Scan says it's a blunder. It's a blunder. 41-37. But it's not a blunder when you win, when you lose on such a difficult way. Come on. It's extremely difficult. I think like I would never find it. That's just too difficult. But then the game continued. So it is still equal with the pieces. And there is this combination. So you know, this exchange at first glance looks really risky. And I think that dark pieces just wanted white to make this attack, because let's check out what is played now. This move. And if white takes here, dark takes, captures, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is the first variation of the combination. The second one is to take here. To 18, and there is just simple king. It works. It takes, okay, and it's done. So this was not possible. So that was extra tactical move, an amazing move, in my opinion. There was this move, this attack plate, here, and the combination is working. And wow, just to imagine how to capture those pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that was the reason why this game ended few moves later. Going further, Herbert Tuleken, Dicky van der Meyer, pardon. So, that game is still being played, but probably this position is won for dark pieces. Despite the fact we have only 5 against 5 pieces. Okay, so what I really like about this game, finally we did see the different opening move. It was 35-30. Quite nice. And attack already. So it was not played like the opening in other games. There was this exchange, the series of exchanges, and black pieces did have better position. So maybe it's not a good advertisement of this opening that dark pieces immediately gained an advantage and were holding its entire game. This exchange 1 for 1. There is a big gap in the center of the board, but it forms into letter D, like my name, of course. And there was some equalizer, but okay, so now this move, just probably to prevent this one. So that was a drawish move. Why that one is so better? Because after something like that... Oh, there is this... Just an attack? Come on. And this takes, and this 1 for 2 to 3 to the king. This is interesting, yeah? The part of this capture. So you get to the king square and you still capture to the king square like a piece. This is extremely interesting. But how to calculate that? Please explain me that. That you have this sacrifice and attack, and after such move you have such combination. It's just unimaginable for me. So once again I understand when someone is not finding the best solution, the best line to play. 17-21 exchange here. Okay, so still was equal. There was this exchange and this is losing. And you know, at first glance, because I used to play international drafts, of course. And in my opinion, such positions are looking better for white pieces, because you are more engaged into the central squares, you have more tempos. It would mean that you are closer to the king, and once you will get to the king, then you are more favored to win the game. Meanwhile, in this position, it is absolutely better for black, according to what Scan says. Ako Alavanka. Hello, is English drafts the least played format, also considering IRL tournaments in the future? Honestly, I would not say that, because we need to follow many different conditions if we want to predict that. Because, okay, perhaps English drafts or checkers are not so popular among official tournaments in FMGD, which is the World Drafts Federation, but when we are looking at the populations that play, which is American, British one, there is one thing to consider. They have players that play, for example, in applications like the one provided by CC Games, the Polish developer. And that application has over 100 million downloads. And if we want to get drafts and checkers more popular, what I would like to do is to change name drafts to checkers, because with all due respect to British language, the more recognizable word among the words is checkers, American one, yeah? And that's the way, in my opinion, that would bring people, because it's easier to adapt to the word that is known for everyone in the world than to change the mentality and change to get to everyone to learn them new word that is not recognizable for them about checkers or drafts, yeah? So I think that British checkers, American checkers are really underestimated about gaining some potential in promoting drafts, generally drafts all around the world. And I would like to create more and more events of checkers or British drafts. So it's, you know, it's not so simple topic to follow, and my vision is to use it. So during tournaments, perhaps it is not so common, but the potential in it is just huge, and we should follow that. So that's my opinion, that's Ako. Tell me what is your. Feel free to do it. So, change, and this 5-5 is winning. Let's see if Dickie van der Meer just used it. And even more victory game. Finally he goes to 15, and here it's minus 8.8. Absolutely finished, as we can see, because you can't go here, you can't go here, you can't go here and here as well. And after this move that probably will be played, such move of sacrificing are losing, and after something like that you have simple exchange. Those pieces now can't go. And what else you can play here? Oh, there is one for free. So you must sacrifice this one here. Everything wins. Okay, so I think that game is already decided. And what is really nice for Polish viewers, Łukasz Kosobucki is defeating Porter Richardson. So we were watching this game up to this moment where Łukasz played a great move, 33-28. Thanks a lot. Are most tournaments in the EU with international and Brazilian checkers rules? I'm quite new to checkers and just like... okay, I can explain you everything, and thank you for asking for that. It's nice that someone is interested in the topic. So in EU most of the tournaments are played in international drafts, but of course we have Brazilian checkers rules as well, but it's different on each country, because in Poland, for example, the most popular variation of 64 square drafts is Brazilian one, and of course in Brazil it is. But internationally, for many years it was more common to play Russian drafts, where you don't have the majority and majority capture rule, and also if your piece takes through the king square, it turns into the king immediately and can continue the capturing on the same move. So those were the differences. And the game is quite different that way, yeah? The Russian drafts. Meanwhile, I believe connecting Brazilian drafts and international drafts is really good, because after all the rules are the same. And once I visit schools and try to show them what are the advantages of playing drafts or checkers, I can explain how to play on the 64 square boards where the Brazilian rules are, and then they can easily convert to international drafts as rules are the same. Yeah? So it's not like any variation is the most common. Okay, among FMGD, the World Drafts Federation official tournaments, most of them is in international drafts, because this is the way, of course, to unite people from all over the world. And on 100 square board we have only two different rules, I guess, international ones and the one that I'm analyzing right now, Frisian. And Frisian are great about showing the possibilities, options, calculating, etc. The imagination around drafts and checkers. Because looking, fighting, following all those combinations is just like impossible. Especially to me, when I'm new to this variation of the game. So this we could see how Łukasz got the point, the piece of advantage, and the game continued. 2 for 3 for 1, so in exchange. So I think that Łukasz opponent was the favorite one of this game. So Łukasz, after losing, finally won a game, so he has now a draw. Oh, really nice combination in the end. So it looks like Porter Richardson was just resigned and didn't check the options, and probably he played this move because what else to play, trying to use this possibility. After Łukasz would play something like this, for example, there would be a mistake, because this 2 for 2, you have a king, and you know how it is to play drafts or checkers. You just need to create chances for your opponent to make a mistake. Thank you and have a nice stream. Thank you very much for your questions, Ako, and feel invited to this and other streams. We'll be transmitting this Fryslân Open tournament 3 days in a row from today, actually 4 days in a row, counting this one, and from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central European time tomorrow, the day after and day after, so feel free to join. So in this position, of course, he took the risk He gave his opponent Łukasz chance to make a mistake, but Łukasz did find the combination by himself, sacrificing 2, taking 4. So that was really, really nice. That was really, really nice. Another game was the game played between Hide de Vries and Alexei Domchev, and this is the winning position right now. We don't see the result put in, but Alexei Domchev is getting the first points in this competition, so the game was like that. I can see already he likes this exchange, because this exchange always ends on this square, and if Scan wants to play on the first move 32-27, perhaps controlling this 24 is important one. So there was this exchange, another exchange. Okay, so simplifications in the beginning of the game. This exchange was played. Perhaps Domchev just wanted to remove some of the base pieces from the king's row, the first row of his opponent, and Domchev was controlling this 30 square, which is kinda important, I guess. As far as I try to understand this game. And another exchange, and this short corner, what Frisian Draughts with Hawaii Blue explained us, was weakened, and Domchev tried to attack it. So now, despite equal number of pieces, the game is indicated as a 1 for black, but Domchev didn't play the winning move. So this one was... And what after this attack? Okay, really nice. So the option was to use a tempo to get to 34, and in case of attack from your opponent, this one or this one, you did have an attack, but the one that is not easy to find. So you would let your opponent take 2 pieces, and you take by yourself 3 pieces, but still you need to check this attack, because this attack normally, many times, would work. Because this piece can't escape, and will be taken on the next move. But there is this move, and another sacrifice, to take 1 and to take to the king, probably. So this is played here, and this piece just can't move further. So calculating all this combination to finally get to such position where you are the first one to get to a king, it's amazing. It's only 10 moves, you would say, but calculating on 10 moves such an endgame, I think it requires much better calculations than international drafts. But of course you can follow some schemes, you can get to some position that you know that is a victory for one side or another. So that was the chance to make a draw, and what? Domchev played such move, 2 for 2, and now it's a winning one for white. So you know, International Grandmaster GMI, the highest possible title to get, is losing in calculations that way, where there are only 4 pieces on side. Something unimaginable. And that was a losing move. And this one was winning. So, how this one is? Wow, so you have 1 piece less, and you have no possibility of avoiding this attack. There was no chance to move with this piece. It was taken anyway, and you are on the king 1 move faster, and you just cut this line, and you can't go to the king. So he sacrificed 2 pieces, and after this one there is this, and no matter if he takes here or here, it will be captured by a piece. Wow. So I'll tell you that endgames here are extremely difficult. I try slowly to get to understand this game, but it's a big achievement, actually. It's something extremely, extremely difficult. But I hope that with your help, finally, I will do it. I will understand it enough. So, 5 games analyzed of the third round. Let me just check if everything is displayed well here. Yes, it can be followed on Twitch, like you can see. Is there still analyze going on the stream? No. The stream on Frisian Draughts is ended already. So it lasted 6 hours, 34 minutes. Quite a long time. Quite a long time. And of course, tomorrow morning, if you would like to follow the games live, commented by Alexander Schwarzman, feel free to visit this channel, Frisian Draughts. You can find it. There is the logo type, and also in the description of this stream on YouTube, you will find the links to the page frisiandrafts.com, and to the YouTube channel, which is Frisian Draughts, of course. Feel invited there. And let's get to the games of the third round. So 5 we did see. Or not. So that was won by white. Let's check out if some nice combination was played here. That was exchanged 2 for 2. So there is a slight advantage of white pieces, but how it was a victory. So it looks like again the game came to end game. And okay, how to do it right now? Sacrifice that piece, he takes and attack. And there is no way to avoid this capture. This move is to play. And you play, wow. So this is a nice forcing to play. But again, to calculate that, come on, it's not possible. So you sacrifice a piece and you make an attack that way. You make an attack that way, so you force opponent to attack here, or use the majority, but this is the better looking option. To make this move, sacrificing 3 pieces, taking 4 to a king. Wow. I don't know if it is possible and someone would find it, but still it was a okay, something quite similar was played about sacrificing a piece. And you know, for me what would be a problem? This is 6 against 6, yeah? And I would completely not know that this is winning for white and how to play it. But still, white pieces are playing that well. And that was a draw move, actually. So there was a chance. And why that was a mistake? This exchange simply 3 against 3. Again, take a look at that. This is winning. This is winning. And this is a draw. And in endgame 3 against 3, 2 players playing well are making mistakes in such endgames. So how did white win it? He sacrificed 2 pieces and played this move, which is losing. So normally, you know, this piece is on a second row. This one is on the third one, and this one is on the fourth one. And if you would like to get to the king, and finally you have to get to a king, I would go with the one that is closest to the king. So with this one. And how did the end game was played? Here. He did let him to take it. Okay, because after this one, you just take 3 pieces that way. Wow. This is the capture that uses all the board, from the corner to the corner. So he played here and here. And why it is over? Here and here an attack. Okay, and this one will be captured. And what if he plays here? This attack, okay, and you take this and this, or he plays here and you take 2 pieces there, for example. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Another game, Menno Kaminga versus Leo van Dorp. What? He just gave his piece away? You know, sometimes probably you think that this variation is good, but it was just leaving a piece and now other two, okay. This is something not to follow. Martin Wallinga against Auke Zylstra. Okay, so I thought that Martin played great the game before, but here actually he lost this game. Let's check out how. So once again we have exchange to 27 and we have double exchange to 27 to control that point. The game continues and slight advantage for white pieces brings us probably to the end game. So this double exchange was played again and the advantage of white pieces was even bigger. There was a combination. Wow, really nice. So Martin, taking into account the combinations, is doing great job. Absolutely, he is good in this variation of drafts. He finds the combinations that I would never find. So sacrificing 3, collecting 4. But the problem is that after 6-11, there is this attack on this checker, and there is no point to save it. So the question is if this position can be a draw or not. And such moves that at first glance look okay are the losing ones. So those pieces can't move right now. This is something that I understand. Perhaps this is not so good because 2 pieces are held now with this 1 piece standing on 7. And that could be a problem. And that is a problem for white pieces. And after 4-9, opponent just plays on the other side, and finally they get to the position where the sacrifice is necessary to be made. 17-11. What else he could play and what was the threat? If he played something like that? Okay, this attack works. So now I get it. So connecting those 2 pieces together was not a good idea. So finally Martin decided to sacrifice this piece, and the question is if there were chances. No, probably not. So his opponent just went to the king, and finally Auke Zylstra won this game. Another game, Renobre Pit Sigma, how it was played. That was a draw actually, so another opening that we have seen already. And this exchange 2-4-2, okay. Perhaps this is something that happened as well, but I don't remember just it. Advantage of dark pieces. So Pete is like playing better. What was the mistake? Perhaps moving this 31. It looks like moving from edge to the center is always a mistake. And now those pieces have like too many gaps between them. Oh, this is losing. But I would never judge position on Frisian drafts. And you know, you have a winning position, then you play such move that looks absolutely normally, and the game is indicated as a draw and not victory of one side. There is this exchange. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. At first glance, it looks like it's impossible to collect all those pieces. But it looks like it was just forced, this possibility, and this couldn't be avoided. Okay, after this exchange, and again the advantage of dark pieces, so it looks like Pete Sigma is playing well strategically, but is playing better strategically, but perhaps Renaud Bray just saves his chances using the tactical way. There was an exchange actually, 2-4-2, despite the fact that dark pieces got to the king. So what was better to play? 10-14, just to wait. Sometimes waiting, patience is the best way to play. And just waiting for your opponent to make some mistakes, because after that exchange, slowly, were there mistakes or not? Okay, still equal. Ooh! Another time. Just losing move here, and this is not using it. So from my observations, calculating positions like 3 against 3, 4 against 4. This is the most difficult part of the game. I would just understand it that way. That understanding, calculating in those 3 against 3 positions, this is the most difficult. Because we can see how many mistakes are made. But after all, that would be just a simple attack, yeah, of the piece. So why Pete is not using that? There is a sacrifice and a try of breakthrough, but where it goes? Nowhere, because dark pieces are faster on the king. So this one looks quite more simple. Oh, nice. But still, you need to calculate that it is a draw. So, okay, and this combination probably was necessary to make, and that was the use of majority capture rule. There is no other way for dark pieces to capture. And this is the draw because there and there. Okay, so this is limited piece, just. Not here, of course. Let's check out how it works. Here, here, here. You just cut this piece off, and you can't play to the corner, you can. And this is a draw to attack this piece finally. Okay, because king can move 3 times, and then the turn goes to the piece. And you must make a move with a piece. So this is the reason why the dots are here, below the king. So after third move, okay. Let's make it differently. After third move, there are 3 dots, and after I wait, you can't move with your king. It's not possible. So you must move with your piece. And the game just is a draw. Yellow game we followed, I guess. Folke Korkoistra as well. So this tick slactor, just like, let's see quickly and just extra tempo of analyze. But I really admire those players of Frisian Draughts, because looking at the computer analyze, I thought that the games will be like roller coasters, so many used and unused chances, you know, and they are playing, the good players of course, are playing quite well, and there are not big swings. But here there was one. Oh, there is a combination, and Fede Wiersma could lose it against this Slachter. But from plus 7.3 to minus 15. So he could make a combination, and he just lost on the breakthrough probably. So what was the possibility? To sacrifice 3 to a king? What? Wow, 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 wow. It's not possible, come on. Such combo. 3 to the king here, and now using the geometry of the entire board to bring the king here. And to calculate that this endgame 3 against 5 is a winning one. Wow. So he took one combination, but that way is not working. Because those 2 are gone. And this 4 against 2. If you need 2 kings to win against 1, is just pointless. So Yellow Wiersma won here, we just took a look there. Tajeke Koistra Fede Kramer. This game was. I'm just wondering now why all the players play this exchange. So I mean, other moves are not that good. This is something that computer suggests, but for example, if we play here, then there is this combination 1 for 2. So this is something you can't play. If you go here, the same combination can be made, but on different Direction, okay, so perhaps this is the reason. This you can't play probably, because this piece is easy to be lost. Here would be this exchange and just waiting. And this one is minus 0.1 already. 1 for 2 for 1 and 2 here. And this is so better for black. The number of pieces is equal, eh? And after 10 moves we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. I would not realize that this is better position for black. But you know, we are learning that. And something similar was played. Two, 1, 1. Another 4 to the... wow. So this combination was made from this point. And equal. The question is if dark pieces did see it. 1, 2, 1 by 1, 3. Here for 4. And you take 2 and 1. And you have 7 against 7 position. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. What was there? This is winning? Why? Another combination prepared? I just can't follow it. So there was unavoidable this exchange, and just computer counts it to the very end of the game. This is something not possible to follow for the human. So if you want a difficult game, Frisian Draughts is definitely for you. Another mistake. Okay, this time he sees it, that probably this is the line to follow. Ah, even I knew that, after just seeing what has happened before. So it's a pity for the Kramer, actually. And 1, 2, 3, and 1 piece more. The game was not continued from this moment. It was done here. Extremely difficult one. And the last game to follow. Okay, it was finished with the victory of checkersTV. We were just looking at that in some, like this position. Advantage of white pieces, but I don't know why. Perhaps the wing is weak. So now, as you can see, white pieces are attacking this wing, and this is the good option to play. Nearly 3 pieces of advantage, and now 7 pieces of advantage, because this exchange is played. And this piece had nowhere to go and finally is captured. 1 for 2. So that was reasonable why white pieces wins the game. And that's it, my dear ladies and gentlemen. That was something great to follow this Fryslân tournament 2024. And for you, you have a lot of more opportunities to do it next days, because from 10 AM the live streams with Alexander Schwarzman starts on the channel Fryslân Open 2024. So feel invited there. You can watch the analysis by Alexander Schwarzman and invited guests, which are the players, I guess. On leadraft.org you can follow. Here is the notification about the next round of Fryslân Open 2024. And here on frisiandrafts.com you can find a lot of important informations about this tournament, this variety of drafts, history, games, people. A lot of interesting content, and the results can be followed on tourney base, so it is really nice to see who is the leader. And the leader is warcabyTV, the one who has won 3 games, but I think yellow won 3 games as well. Yellow won, okay. So it still needs to be updated. There are more players who won 3 games. Perhaps there are actually 3. but less points in the table. Oh, this is not, those are no points, sorry, there are points. Okay, so 3 players out of 24 have won 3 out of 3 games. It can be visible here. Meanwhile, 3 players are waiting for the first move. This is Patryk Kasaril, Leo Van Dorp and Hide de Vries. Łukasz Kosobucki for Polish fans, having 50% of points, 1.5 out of 3. So, it was a nice experience for me. The game is extremely difficult, the game is extremely tactical. It was worth to follow the history, and I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to leave the thumb up under the video, to subscribe to checkersTV YouTube channel, to subscribe and follow Checkers Online TV on Twitch, and of course the channel Frisian Draughts on YouTube. And we see each other tomorrow evening, later evening, because the stream will start on 8 PM and will be done in 2 hours on 10 PM, and the same history on Friday and Saturday. So please be there, and thank you very much for watching, and please follow this interesting tournament because more interesting games are about to be played. Meanwhile, have a good evening and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.